Since the last 5 months, I've been looking at nonprofits, grassroots organizations from around the country. And what I find that is common in all of those grassroots nonprofits is that they're struggling. What's also true is those elite groups that normally get funding, those groups are getting even more funding. Grassroots organizations actually do the work and offer the solution. But it's the elite organization that get the real money. In order for us to begin to look at how do we change this narrative, we have to start thinking differently. When we work with nonprofits, we talk about using a new school, next generation approach to how to operate mom and pop grassroots organization operate to be able to compete with those organizations from elite organization that's been around. What we do believe is that grassroots organizations offer the most promising solutions to the problems that we face in our society. However, traditionally, the elite groups are the ones that are actually getting the money, and then they provide little stipends to the organizations that's actually doing the work. What we do know, and I've worked with and been part of a number of groups that was evaluating grants to determine whether or not that person gets the grant. What is common among funders when they look at, especially grassroots organizations that come from funding, they view them, perceive them as funders do, as beggars, always coming for money. The new school approach begins to look at, well, how do you flip the coin and position yourself in a way that begins to bring in the funding sources that you need to order to operate. In other words, how do you compete against the elite? Well, here's what we know. New school nonprofits, the way we are training, are perceived as investors because they focus on earned income and social enterprising as a way to have funding sustainability. This is critical. The new school generation removes the middleman and goes directly to the funding source. So actually, it begins to the new grassroots organization goes after the same funding as your big elite group goes after. What we teach grassroots nonprofits how to get investments from corporate America, including banks and investors. The same type of money where your elite group goes to get money. So that's what we mean by cutting out the middleman, being able to create that particular packet that you can go to a bank or an investor with in order to continue your funding. Again, it's based upon that new school, social enterprise, earned income approach to earning income. So, anyway, I want to then start with this video that I made earlier to talk about more information. Is set up when it comes to nonprofit work is that only those that are considered to be part of the elite class actually get the money. And they do this in part because the training that's available to those elite organizations in order to position themselves to go after money is not passed down to your grassroots organization. Grassroots organizations actually do the groundwork, yet they get the least amount. Your elite group gets the money, and then they're set up in a way where they distribute the money to your grassroots organization, or should I say, the pennies. What we do at the Center of Nonprofit and Community Development is that we change the narrative. We focus on working with your grassroots organization that is looking for the same training that's available to those who are part of the elite groups. These are groups, elite groups, and you know them. They've been around forever in communities throughout the United States, especially poor communities. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different outcome. And that insanity means that elite groups constantly get the money, but yet the outcome is the same. It's the grassroots organizations at the ground level that understand how to come about bringing the solutions necessary to make the change. Our objective is to provide nonprofits to the grassroots throughout the United States with the tools necessary to compete against the elite, those organizations that's been around forever. Forever. The reality is that if you had the same skill set that they had and the same training that they had, you would be able to compete for the same funders that they go at. So that's a no-no to the elite world of giving you that training necessary that you become so good that you can actually go after that money yourself. What we do is change the narrative when it comes to grassroots nonprofits. Grassroots nonprofits are making it through donation for the most part. They're doing the work, but they're making it through pretty much individual donations that give money to them. And we all know that's not sustainable. Yet, if they had the money necessary, they create the change necessary to move the dial related to all types of illness in society, from homelessness to crime to unemployment, mental health, etc. So my name is Michael Randolph, and I'm with the Center for Nonprofit and Community Development. I want to share with you the demographics that we tend to attract and work with and now throughout the United States. So let me play this brief recorded video to share with you who is it that we focus on in terms of, or who is it that is focused on that we attract in terms of our demographics. Okay.
The technical support that we provide to nonprofits, anywhere from business plans, how to write a grant, how to do a strategic plan, how to do a budget, how to finance, and that list goes on and on. So what I want to do now is begin to look at who are our demographics. And we use Facebook as one of our sources of finding out who is it that we are connecting with. This represents about a week's worth of information in terms of our audience. As you can see, and this is consistent no matter what we look at our demographics, it tend to be predominantly controlled by women, which is 60%, and by men, which is 40%. Our highest demographic is 30 females between the ages of 35 to 44. The next demographic is females between the ages of 45 to 54, and then from 55 to 64. And then the next highest number is 25 to 34. We plan to expand on this number within the next 2 years. And by expanding on this number, we plan to expand on this demographic of 18 to 24. When we look at, well, where are the folks that are liking us and watching us, we do a geographic breakdown. Each of these numbers represent an organization, since all of our services is focused towards organization. So within the last week, about 390 organizations liked us or gave us a thumbs up in Tampa. St. Pete was 81 organization, Brandon is 44, Clearwater is 29, Orlando is 29. Baltimore, which is the city I'm from, is 17. Although what we're seeing in Baltimore is a substantially number. This overall the numbers that's coming in from Baltimore. And then we have Egypt, Lake, Jackson.
What we're seeing in terms of Baltimore is a large increase in the numbers since we started to really begin to post what we do in Baltimore. We've identified, especially in Baltimore, all of those major players that are doing something in order to engage in their community. So I commend Baltimore for that. So I had to step for a second because that's my hometown, Baltimore. Okay, let's continue.
Jacksonville, Lakeland, and then Riverview. Now, these numbers reflect a limited location. Normally, when we do a workshop, and if we look at these numbers, we've seen these numbers from all over the United States. But on a typical day, this is what these demographics look like. And when we look at other countries, overwhelmingly, it's the United States. But behind that is Nigeria, the Philippines, South Africa, United Kingdom, the islands, Ghana, Pakistan, and St. Lucia. And again, these numbers come even higher when we give our workshops. When we give our workshops, we have entities from all over the United States and all over the world that take part in that, including Nigeria, South Africa, the United Kingdom, etc. But way more than that. So this thing gives a picture of who is it that our market is attracting. So we use this data here when we start to do branding and when we start to do advertisement to make sure our dollars are going to where it needs to go to. And this is
What we're talking about is target demographic. When you go specifically after the demographics related to age, race, and begin to hone in on that population when you're going to do your advertisement and your branding. So yeah, Facebook is one source that I use, but I also use LinkedIn and those other sources to watch who is it that liking me, who is it that's watching me, what information can I get about them in terms of demographics, location, income, race, etc. And that becomes very important when you begin to market your product.
way that you look at your organization and begin to say, where should we be putting our dollars at?
So you see who we attract all over the place. But more importantly, our goal is to level the playing field when it comes to those grassroots nonprofits that are out there doing the work. The training that we provide plus all type of different levels that only the elite is normally entitled to. For example, how do you talk to banks to bring in money? Lenders. How do you approach government agencies to get money? How do you create an opportunities for foundations and corporations to get money? Did you know there's over 135,000 foundations and corporations that give money throughout the United States? And this is a conservative number. When you go to the foundation number, they have 3 times this number. At the end of the day, our society is the way it is because the grassroots organizations are not given an opportunity to provide the solutions necessary to change the narrative. Crime is high in our community. Substance abuse, mental health, unemployment, homelessness, lack of affordable housing, environmental issues, and the list goes on and on. Unless the grassroots organization understand the toolbox that you need to operate against these elite groups, then they always will be in a position to get the money while the solution is within your hand. We're committed to working with grassroots nonprofits throughout the United States and providing that particular level of compatibility that puts you in the playing field of going against your big elite nonprofit organizations that normally go and get the money. Once you understand the secrets as to how that game is played, then you change the narrative. It is again the grassroots organization, the small organization that's dependent upon donation from individuals that are limited in terms of what they can do because of funding. If they had that capacity to tap into those trillions of dollars that's out there, that these elite corporations, elite nonprofits are tapping into, you can then change the narrative.